All right, so we are having the Manage UX office hours. And I was bringing up a point that I wanted to show Cassio. So let me just bring this up. Share my screen. Okay, I'll share this one. Okay, so if I go to my projects from GitHub that I have either imported or still need to import, I can talk through this scenario that got me to this list. So basically, I had all these goofy names for all of my projects in GitHub. To make it more realistic, I wanted to go back and change those names. So what I did was I opened this link in GitHub, edited the name from there, saved it, came back to GitLab, and now, for lack of better term, the old name is still there, as well as whatever I named it, the new version, I guess.
So you have the old and the new name? That is the scenario? Okay.
Yeah, and it makes sense because you've already created, like this doesn't change. The only thing that changed was your name, the name from GitHub. So it seems like this line still should exist because they should be able to go to project from here. But what's confusing is now that I've changed the name, I've gone back to GitLab. I keep getting 404s when I open these. These are all the ones I changed yesterday, the day before. Whoops, except for
because we saved the URL to where you came from when you imported. So then you changed that URL and now it doesn't exist in GitHub, but the GitHub won't let us know that something changed from one to another.
What do you mean GitHub wouldn't?
Well,
Why wouldn't
this is a link to GitHub, right? So you went into GitHub and you edited something.
Yep.
So GitHub is not going to let us know that previously this project was named something else and therefore we should update our links. Like our links are going to point to what got recorded at the time of import.
Well, like when I update the URL, or I'm sorry, the name of my project, the URL does change. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
But you're saying
and now GitHub didn't tell us about the URL change. So we're gonna have recorded the fact that yesterday you imported from testing 2, but now it could be testing 3, and testing 2 is a dead link.
And testing 3 would then show up down here.
Right.
Yeah.
But I don't think that we can do anything about that, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, the problem I had is when I would go to the GitHub project. See, here's the instance where this is happening with a couple of my projects. So I just went to, what was it, Yellow? And I have changed the name, data infrastructure, which is down here somewhere.
I see it, yeah.
And it links to the same page. So I was
if you go to Yellow, I'm curious, do we redirect? I mean, do we have a new link or does the GitHub?
Probably GitHub itself does a redirect.
Can you see what link is under Yellow? Like the click that you click to go to Yellow in GitLab. What URL is
Can you
it
guys hear me?
to?
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
Sorry. Depending on how you rename the project on GitHub, I know it does a redirect by itself. So I know GitHub keeps the old name for a while, and it's not forever, but for a while after you renamed the project. So the old URL will continue work because, like, if you share that project with more people or something like that, it keeps redirecting to the new URL. I think it depends on how long ago you renamed and how you renamed, because there's also some tricky stuff about how you renamed.
All right, well, let me, like Redbird, where the heck is that? Redbird I changed yesterday, and it directs me to Runbooks, or no, 2 days ago actually, and it directs me to Runbooks. So what did I do wrong?
You did right, actually. If it's redirecting, it's the right thing.
But it also, so it doesn't do that with all of them though. Like I said, some of them go to a 404 page.
Yeah, but just for me to be sure that I'm the same page, did you go in the GitHub settings and rename the repository out there, the project in the GitHub settings, or you
Yeah.
created a new one? No.
So here's what I would do. So I'll rename that. It saves. I have a new URL. And I did that from Redbird. Gosh, I'm getting confused. Redbird, yeah, I did that from Redbird.
Yeah.
So now
I noticed one thing though, that project was empty when you renamed it, right? So I'm not sure if GitHub has it, but I know GitLab does. There's a difference between renaming a project and renaming the repository in GitLab. I'm not sure if GitHub has something similar to that.
any idea where I would go?
But what is it that we're trying to do?
Yeah,
Is
that's a
really
good question.
It's confusing. So here, let me bring over my Figma file and walk you through. So well, okay. Let me walk you through this. So if a user navigates to the import groups page, they notice there's a mistake in the name of the project from GitHub. So now they have to navigate to GitHub to change the name of the project.
Why? If you're importing, why can't you just import from that old name and be forgotten and be done with it? Wouldn't that be the easier things? Like, yeah, it's a bad name, but I'm migrating out of there anyway. So,
and you can rename the new repository in GitLab, right? So
right,
it doesn't matter the original.
Rename it on import.
But what if you plan to keep both repositories? I don't know.
Well, that's not a great
I
use
just
case
found
for
this
import.
well,
But yeah, I mean, yeah, you can keep it, but then if you rename it, like,
right.
Why would we manage GitHub's
Well, here's my suggestion then.
changing data, right?
Yeah. So what my suggestion is that when after a user comes back from renaming it in GitHub, we disable the link. So, and actually, you wouldn't see this, but we just create a read only. So they aren't going to be directed to a 404 page, or they're not going to be directed to a project that isn't named the same. Does that make sense? Because by me renaming
I like the first part of that sentence, and that is if we're going to take you to a 404, maybe we should try and handle it better. Maybe, but like, let's just leave that to the side. But if I've actually renamed or fixed a typo in a name for a project in GitHub, like, it's kind of nice that GitLab knows that, yeah, this particular project has been imported. Like, just because you change your name doesn't change what the project is, like who's in it, what work is in there, what it's for, like all these things. Like the gist of that, the purpose of that project is exactly the same. Like, we just changed the title for it, but it is that project, and that project has been moved into GitLab. So if we actually, in fact, are telling you that, yeah, you have already imported this once, under this name, I don't think that's a bad message. I think that's kind of a nice to know. Otherwise, we lose the fact that that project was imported, and it's kind of nice to have that fact. So
no, I think right here, I mean, the fact that it has a check mark saying done or success.
Oh, you're just saying disable the link.
This link under the first column. So to avoid them clicking that link and go to a 404 page, we'll just disable
If they really
it.
want to go there, they're going to copy the link, they're gonna like, triple click this, they're gonna copy the URL, they're gonna paste it in there, and they're gonna go there. Like if their intent is to follow that URL, they will do that, whether it takes them to 404 or a new redirected name, they will, if they click on that, their intent is to see what's behind that link. And if we're not allowing them to click on that, they don't know why that is. They will copy and paste that URL and they will still do it. It's just like going to be, 3 extra steps for them. But if that's what the user's intent is, I tend to err on the side of not stopping the user be able to exercise their intent. Like there's nothing destructive about them going there and seeing, yep, this project no longer exists. Like it existed at some point in time, it either got deleted or who knows what, but it did exist. And now you can at least, 404 is informational. It tells you that there is currently no project with this name. So we know that there used to be one and now there isn't. So that's an additional piece of information that you were able to glean. So I don't see this as a bad thing happening. This is, hey, there's no project here anymore.
But why then would we leave that a link? So then could see a 404 page rather than.
So rather than what? Rather than not be able to click it?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they would rather not be able to click, like from the user perspective, they would rather not be able to click it than follow a 404?
Yes, because in my mindset, when I was changing these, I was like, oh, okay, it just hasn't updated yet. I'm expecting this to go to my newly updated project, my newly saved, updated name. If I'm making sense.
Yeah, but the only link we have, like we have no control over where it goes, but the only thing we do is like, we do have a link where it came from at some point, and we can let you go there and see what is there. But restricting the information from the user, I don't think it tells them why that is. Like if we could provide the full story and a workaround, then I think, we might want to disable their ability to do that because we're like, no, you deleted this or you renamed this or here's a new link or don't go there. I mean, if we give them a reason, but if we're just leaving it like that without any reasoning, and they're like, but I really want to go there, they're just gonna copy and paste it. That's what I would do. It's like, well, why is this not a link? I really need to see where this project is. So let me click, let me copy and paste, and maybe I get redirected to a new project. It's like, oh yeah, there it is now. It's not Redbird, it's Redbird with capital R or double R or some type of fix. I'm like, yeah, that's my project. So that's actually very useful to be able to take them to the redirected project. But I'm saying it might also be informational for them to just go to the 404. Like we are spending our money to stop them from following the link that they want to follow anyway.
Right, which is, I think, even more reason why we shouldn't have a link. Go ahead. Sorry, Cassia.
Actually, at first I was tending to leaning to not having a link, but I was checking the code. And if the path comes, it's because in the API of GitHub, the repository yet exists. So we built this GUI, as far as I could understand, on a quick look in the code based on the GitHub API. So although it's a link for a 404, which I agree it's not very useful or interesting to the end user, but is a URL, is a repository path that GitHub is returning. So I'm not sure. I think we could do something, but I think the effort to do something, it's higher than the return. The cost benefit on that, I'm not sure it's worth it, since it's something that already comes from the GitHub, and it's probably just something that either GitHub is caching or we are caching somewhere. So it might go away in a few days' time. And all that said, I have another question. Did you test like importing a repository, then deleting the repository on GitHub if it still appears in there? Because should be a similar behavior with a deletion.
Yeah, let me, I don't think I've tried deleting, but I can.
Yeah,
because like,
go
ahead, sorry.
Go ahead.
Because like if we're deleting something from GitHub and it's not appearing there, it's because GitHub it's deleting for real from the API as well. It's probably cleaning some caches or somewhat. Now, if you delete on GitHub and still appears in there, it might be that we are caching on our side, and that would be bad. Because I think this UI should be built without caching, at least for the first time. I don't know. I'm not sure what's the best solution. I'm just saying that as far as I can see, we use the API to build the UI, the list. So filtering that UI can be tricky, cannot be. I'm not sure. I don't know from the top of my mind the returns of the API. If there's something like renamed or some kind of attribute like that, we could investigate. But in any case, I don't think the big problem to the users most of the time. Trying to put myself as a user who imports a lot of repositories. I don't think, to be honest, I would look too much to things that I already imported. If I'm going to this page, I'm probably trying to look more to things that I want to import. So maybe if I see like a repository that I thought I already imported and it's available to import, that would be weird. And that's also the case. But the things that I already imported, I think most of the users won't be too concerned if those things are 404 or not.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, we already have a feature that's coming down, or eventually will, and that is the ability to view import history. Like, I feel like at that point, when we split the data of, these are all the things that you've done before, historically, these are the things you imported, when you imported, who, how, here's a link, and if it doesn't exist there anymore, well, that's because you deleted it, like, I don't care. So when we split the historical data from, these are the things you're actioning on right now, I think this will be cleared up somewhat. So I would probably want to revisit our logic once we do implement the history page, because I think some of this could live on the history page and be relevant there forever. And the other feel that I have here is like, yeah, there seems to be like a missing feature here. I think you're onto the fact that there's a missing feature, but it's a missing feature for GitHub, not for GitLab. Like, and they may implement something like, you know, we get this link from them, or we keep the, whatever it is, like we have this link. We don't know if it's going to take you to 404, if it's going to redirect you to a new thing, or if it's going to take you to a new page that says, hey, there used to be something, there used to be a project here now deleted. Maybe they implement a different page instead of the 404. It's something that says, delete a project. The project was deleted by Cassio 3 days ago. And that would be an improvement to their 404, whereas just take you to like, yeah, there's nothing here to see. It was like, well, there used to be something here, see, but they may implement that. Like, we don't control that, and we shouldn't. Like, we should let you go there. And then whatever their experience is with things that you deleted there is not our concern in theory.
True.
So that's
kind
of how I see it. I really don't want to be compensating for the fact that GitHub doesn't have that feature, because they may tomorrow have a feature that tells you more about it on that page. So we still, I would say, we take you where they told us, and now you're in GitHub. And if you don't like the fact that you deleted something, but they're not telling you delete, they're telling you 404, there's nothing here. That's really a feature for GitHub to implement.
Yeah, fair enough. And we are at time.
Wow, that was so long.
Harris got the last word. As always. No, I'm just kidding. All right, well, I have to get my controllers back. I can't. Okay, now I'm ready. All right, bye guys. Thanks so much for any other questions too? Anything?
I'll less detail. Sorry, I was looking the API here, and maybe we could just check what URL we are using to build this page, because I'm seeing here from the GitHub API that actually they return a bunch of different URLs. So maybe we are using the wrong one or something like that. But this is something that I can check right now just to be sure that we are not using some outdated field or something like that. Because maybe
Yeah.
it's something silly and we just let it go away. To the
Yeah. Well, yeah. If you could maybe let us know what the options are, and then we'll see if any one of them is better than this. Because I'm not, I'm not really too offended by what we're showing.
And I'll try the delete repository flow
Okay.
and call out if anything's weird.
Cool.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.